Hello everyone, and welcome to my overview of my Melee Stats Spreadsheet. So this is a project that I've been working on for quite a while now. If I can show you the vision history, it'll take a little while to load because I've been just working on it for that long. This originally started out as a concept to do a matchup chart for all of the top 50. I really thought that it was something that would be a good tool to use. Hold on. It's got to load even more. And I felt like I personally at least, would really benefit from it. And so, I started to try to come up with something that was similar to this, because this originally had the 2017 power rankings on it, and I really kind of wanted the 2018 top 50 power rankings on it. And so that's kind of what I originally set out to do. So you can kind of see here were some of my early attempts at it. But as I went further along, I decided that it really wasn't for me. And so I decided to make this instead. This has the top 50 players' placings at these tournaments, which I used to pretty heavily consider who I would personally have as my top 50, and then I just include them as I go. And so it stopped at CEO, and then I started including after that. So even bigger bulk, run back, smash factor 7, short hops, aurora blitz, low tier city 6, evo, smash con, Aaron, shine are either in or will be in it. And then I'll just kind of keep expanding on it as I go. If you look at the earlier part of the year, you may notice that there might be some fairly large events missing. Fight Pit 8, the gang hosts a Melee tournament, some tournaments like that. And I did look into those a little bit, but they weren't necessarily on my radar for top 50 placings, and so I just kind of left them aside for now. I may end up going back and finishing those off, but I don't know if I'll do that for sure. So as you can see, I have most of the tournaments done. I still need to put in, at the time, Smash Con and Air 5 tournament placings, and then I need to finish up for boxes, Evo and Genesis. So you may be wondering, some have notes, some don't. What are in the notes? So you kind of got a little bit of a glimpse at one, but basically inside of the notes, it has the players' wins, notable wins, and notable losses, and all of their losses. So notable wins are kind of objectives. Objective losses are not. If you lose to someone, you lose to someone. So I tried to do the best I can based on people that I keep seeing appear over and over, people who seem to place fairly well that tournament, and basically anyone that was on like the top 50 or previous top 100. And so I then went through and put all of them in, and so as you can see, each player then will have their tournament placing, and their tournament, which is really nice to have, for me personally at least, because then if I really wanted to, I could copy and paste all of, like, for example, Hungry Box's tournaments, and then if I copy and paste them into like the bottom of my tournament list for now, I can then go through and record all of his wins and losses, which is probably my next steps that I'm planning to do, is record everybody's wins and losses into one big card that will be on their tag. I'm also really trying to finish up all of the tournaments, so Genesis 5, Evo, SmashCon, and Air, and then Shine as it comes along, and anything else that might come after it. So I know DreamHack Montreal, I think, is coming up. I know Big House 7 is coming up. EGLX, I think, might be. There might be another EGLX. I know that this EGLX already happened. Game Tyrant Expo, I think, is coming up as well. GTX. And so I just kind of want to keep filling these in throughout the year. And I can then, like, add more, like, insert 5. Oh, no, not that. Insert 5 columns. And then I have, like, more space as well to work with. On top of all of this, I do have like tournament lists, as you saw, for just like one tab for all the tournaments that I currently have, and then I'll mark them off based on everything I do. On top of that, you may remember, hold on, I'll pull it up, but I had a spreadsheet called Summer Melee PR, and it had the normal PR, some people who I thought might be doing fairly well. It had the winter PR. It had the real summer PR, which is now not there anymore. So I'll put that back as a part of history, even though I'm not really using this anymore because I transferred that over to here. And so this will be kind of just in general. So like the winter PR, or the past PR will be here. My predictions for each PR will be here. The current PR will be here. Like all of the PRs are gonna be on this spreadsheet pretty much. And then I have my PR work right here. So then, like, these are the people who are in the top 50. So that way, if I like control F and I'm like, oh, is Bladewise in the top 50 because he's been doing fairly good this year, and I can't remember, then then I can see, oh yes, he's up here, he's not highlighted. And then how I basically sorted everything was, I had the ballot from last year, I had the top 100 from last year, I had the players that were on the summer ballot, and then I had people who I thought would be fairly good and who have performed fairly well this year. And so then people who were on the ballot and on last year's PR are here. These are probably people that would be fairly high up on the list. I feel like they'd probably be in the next PR. These are people who are only on the ballot, and that means they've performed fairly well this year, but that may not be sustainable because they might not have performed as well last year, or it may be a turning of the tide for them. So these players I also like to look out for. Just on last year's PR, I will look at these players. I will look at these players and see if they're doing fairly well and see if they're still active, but usually they're kind of lower down on the list. On last year's PR and on my list, those are fairly high up. So like Android and Dark Atma and like Jerry and Moki and Kaon, these are people who have been performing fairly well throughout the year, and so having those there kind of tells me these are people who have performed fairly well and they're doing fairly well so far this year. And I made a list of a ton of players who I thought have been performing really well this year and who I might want to see more of, and who I think could be on the PR. And then these are just on my list. So quite a few of these, so anything highlighted in red, they haven't attended too much or they've just performed really poorly. Anybody in purple, they have an SSB wiki page. So I think I've showed you guys this before, but basically it has everybody's tournament placings. and it's kind of the main way I know if a player has been to a certain tournament. It's really nice just to have. I can go into each tournament and search for it, but that isn't always the best thing to do. And then if they're blue, they don't have an SSB wiki page. If they're purple, they do, and they have been performing fairly well. So that's just a little bit of that. And so now I kind of will show you how I completed each of these, where I gathered all my data from. So just kind of to help me out a little bit, I'll go ahead and do Genesis 5. You might hear a little bit of rain. I'll go ahead and close out some of these tabs. But for example, I ended up finishing off with Leffen. So now I'll do Mewtwo King. And then I come in here and I look at his wins. So he's beaten 42nd, who, if I remember right, has been pretty decent this year. And since 42nd has also done pretty deep, this is kind of something that I have to think about as well. So, yeah, rain's coming down pretty hard now. But, I want to, because 42nd did fairly well at SmashCon, and SmashCon isn't a tournament that I've looked into that much, and so I might save him for when I start looking more at SmashCon, but I might put him as a notable win for Mewtwo King now. So Mewtwo King beat 42nd, K-Pan, Slox, and Crush are his notable wins that I personally see. So I'll go ahead and put an insert in note, and I'll put wins of Crush, Slox, K-Pan, and 42nd. And then I will go to the losses section, and I will put his 2 losses, which were to Lucky and Leffen. And then I would repeat this process for each person in line. So now I can do Mango. And so I see that Mango beat Kira, IBDW, Stango, and Duck are just the 4 that I'm going to remember for now. I might not even remember all. So Kira, wins. Kira, Stango, IBDW, Duck, and then I think I saw Axe and Wizzy there too. Yep. And then he lost to Leffen and Plup. So you may also notice that some things aren't completely alike. So one example of this would be Kira wouldn't be as quality of a win as Wizrobe or Axe or Duck, and that's also something that you have to take into account, and that's something that I really probably should have put more effort and thought into, but hold up, and I might put a little bit more in, but I mean, like, hold on. Yeah, so like Crunch and Toph might not be as quality wins for Swedish to have as like Dreffen or like Lod and Zane, who are 2 like top 20 or like fringe top 20 and top 10 players, and so it's also kind of like quality of win. But if you look at a bracket, so if we want to look at Mango's way through pools, so H14 for round 2 pools. I'm gonna check my phone real quick. Yeah. So if we look at Mango's way through pools, though, you can see he plays easier people early on in his pool, and as he advances further in his pool, so like he played Kira to start, and then he played IBDW, and then he played Stango, and then Duck, and then Plup, and then Wizrobe. And so as you advance further into the bracket, the harder the matches get. And you can also see that through I'm gonna go back to the standings again to show you, but you can also see that because the easier players are usually earlier on in line. It usually just shows their straight path through. So as you saw, it was Kira, and then IBDW, and then Stengo, and then Duck, and then Plop, and then after he lost to Plop, he played Wizrobe and Axe, and then went on to Leffen. I can just kind of show you that in top 8, just so you know. And so I've been using that. It's really nice to have. It's basically just one big tournament recap for a player, but I also could, if I really wanted to. So like for the next one, which is Wizrobe, I'll just go through and follow his path all the way through, and then remember his wins and losses. So, hold on. He is up here. I think he lost in round 2. Yep. Yeah. So then going through, I can see that he beat Smash Daddy and Rocky. So I'm going to go ahead and just put those in. And then moving on, he played Ryan Ford, which he won. And then he lost to Amsa. And then moving down, he then played Lod, which he beat. He barely beat Zane and lost to Mango. So then his wins from that would be Lod and then Zane, and his loss would be Mango. And so you just kind of keep doing that for each player in the tournament. And so yeah, that's kind of what I've been working on quite a bit lately. I feel like for me personally, it's a really cool project. I hope some of you all can find some kind of use out of it. And hopefully for people who might not have as many tools, this can be a helpful tool. I will link the matchup chart down below, because I've also been using this quite a bit for like predicting matches. So like when Leffen played West Balls at Air, I went to Leffen and over to West Balls, and then I got to see that Leffen went Marth at the Mango, so that one might not have been completely serious. But he beat him at Smash Summit and then beat him 2 times at Air. So before that, he was 1-1, and one of the times he went Marth, and now he's 3-1. So those were kind of correct predictions, and just kind of some stuff like that. One last thing I want to show you is this site called My Hands Hurt. I found this out because somebody made a joke about their roommates always losing on Twitter. And I was like, what is this site? This seems really cool. And I found out that it was My Hands Hurt. And this takes data from Smash.gg, which is the site used for a ton of tournaments. So like, if you can just see on the side, these are just some of the many tournaments that they have. And like, they host pretty much every tournament. And then you can see, so I attended Smash and Splash 4, and you can see all my losses. And that's the one big tournament, or that's the one tournament that I've been to that I've registered for on Smash.gg. It only really accounts for Melee. I really want to try to find something else that accounts for other things, because I'm also kind of into Smash 64 and Rivals of Ether. And so that'd be really nice to have. But it's also really good to, it also has head-to-heads and leaderboards and analytics and stuff like that. So, this is a good tool for that, but you can also see, like, Leffen, what we were talking about, the Leffen versus West Balls scenario. And so we can also see that through My Hands Hurt. Hold on. I think I might have to type it out. Oh yeah. Okay. So you can see here that Leffen has won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of their 10 meetings, it looks like. So he is 8-2 against him. And he did go Marth during the Mango, so that might not show complete data for it, and so he might have really beaten Armada. He might be up 9-1, and it also shows some stuff. So based on year, and then kind of by games and by set counts and by head to head. But what is also really cool about this is you can put in a player. So let's say Hungrybox, because he's it shows stage win percentages, so which is really nice to have. So down here you can see that Hungrybox wins 72.7% of the time on Dreamland and 79.2% on Fountain of Dreams, but he's worse off on Pokemon Stadium, Final Destination, and then Battlefield and Yoshi's Story are about the same. So he really wants to try to counterpick to these two if he can, but he gentlemaning to Battlefield might not be a bad choice since it's about his mid-ground, and having them take you to Yoshi's, or being taken to Yoshi's Story might not also be terrible for him. So that's kind of all I have for now. I might cut down on the videos a little bit for a little while. I might be doing only Monday uploads. Stuff is starting back up again. I'm starting to get really busy. And I'll try to make those high quality uploads as well. With that, I think I gotta go. Hope you all enjoyed this video. I'll link the 2018 SSBM, my melee stats, the My Hands Hurt, and SSB Wiki down in the description. All of those are tools that you guys can use. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys later.